"You've got 30 minutes to pack," my husband said, as strangers walked into my house with hammers. I stared at him. "You're tearing this down while I'm still inside?" He smirked. "It's my house." I smiled back. "You're sure about that?" "My name is Danielle Carter, and I'm 34 years old. I've never been the kind of woman people notice when I walk into a room. I worked as a quiet estate planner in a small law firm, handling paperwork, wills, and family disputes nobody else wanted. The office always smelled like old books and dust, and I liked that calm silence. My husband Eric used to joke that my job was boring and useless. He ran a construction company and loved control, money, and attention. His voice was always loud, his promises even louder. In his family, I was the quiet one, the woman who married up. They believed I had no power, no ambition, and no voice. I heard their whispers at every gathering. They thought I didn't notice. The truth was simple. I wasn't rich or glamorous, and I didn't come from money, but I understood something they didn't. I knew how power really worked. I spent years listening to secrets and watching families fall apart because of greed. I learned how to protect myself. I just never thought I would need those lessons in my own marriage. If you've ever been underestimated because you stayed quiet and worked behind the scenes, hit that subscribe button. I want to know if people ever assumed you were weak just because you didn't speak loudly. Tell me in the comments and click hype. Let's go. Eric started changing after his business began losing money. He stayed out late, took angry calls, and looked at me like I was a stranger. He stopped calling the house our home. Instead, he called it his investment. One morning, while drinking coffee, he said, "I took a loan. I used the house as collateral." I froze. "You did what?" He shrugged. "Relax, it's temporary." I felt my chest tighten, but I stayed calm. At dinner a week later, he announced it to his parents like it was a victory. "If she doesn't cooperate, I'll sell the property." His mother laughed. "She should be grateful she even lives here." The table went quiet. My hands shook under the table, but I smiled. Days later, I drove home and saw trucks outside. The sound of metal hitting wood echoed across the street. Workers stood on the lawn, ready to start. Eric handed me divorce papers. "I'm rebuilding. This place is outdated." I looked around as neighbors watched. He leaned close and whispered, "You are leaving with nothing." I nodded slowly because just hours earlier, I had received a phone call that changed everything. The first betrayal came fast. Eric locked me out of our bank accounts and told people I was unstable. Friends stopped answering my calls. The second betrayal hurt deeper. His sister posted lies online saying I had cheated. Messages flooded my phone. I cried alone, then wiped my face and started thinking clearly. The third betrayal was cold. He pushed papers toward me saying they were simple divorce forms. I pretended to sign without reading, but I memorized every word. After that, I began recording conversations. I saved every email. I copied every document. Each insult made me calmer. Each humiliation made me stronger. I noticed details: hidden debts, illegal shortcuts, fake contracts. Eric became careless as his arrogance grew. He thought he had already won. He laughed more, drank more, and bragged about my downfall. Meanwhile, I stayed quiet. What they didn't know was that my job had trained me to see traps from miles away. The phone call that morning came from a lawyer handling my late aunt's estate. She had left everything to me because I was the only one who stayed in touch. The number was overwhelming, but the money was not the most important part. The legal team that came with it was. I now had protection, investigators, and experts Eric never imagined. I gathered proof of fraud, tax evasion, and illegal contracts tied to his company. I built files, timelines, and evidence. I was not planning revenge. I was building a case. I waited because patience is power. My ally was Mrs. Holloway, the senior partner at my firm. She had always warned me about mixing love and power. She listened quietly, then said, "You did the right thing. Now we finish this." She helped me secure legal protection and freeze suspicious property transfers. We prepared a strategy. Meanwhile, Eric's confidence exploded. He bragged about demolishing the house and starting fresh. His family planned a celebration dinner for his freedom. They believed I had already lost. I accepted their invitation and smiled. The confrontation happened in a lawyer's office during the official divorce hearing. Eric walked in, relaxed and proud. "Let's get this over with," he said. He expected me to surrender. Instead, Mrs. Holloway entered with a full legal team. The room changed. She placed documents on the table. The property belongs to Mrs. Carter through a protected trust. Eric blinked. "That's impossible." I played recordings of his threats. His lies filled the room. Investigators presented evidence of fraud. Officials stepped inside. His face turned pale. His hands trembled. I looked at him calmly. "You tried to destroy my home. Now you've destroyed your own future." Eric's business collapsed under investigation. His family stopped calling when the truth spread. I rebuilt the house, not to prove anything, but to create a new life. I expanded my career and helped women protect themselves. For the first time, I felt fully in control. The quiet woman they underestimated became someone they could never ignore. The biggest lesson was simple. Silence is not weakness. Sometimes it is strategy. If someone ever tried to take what you worked for or manipulate you financially, you know that pain. Share your story in the comments so others can learn from your strength. Subscribe to join a community that believes in protecting your future. Click Hype to help this story reach others who need it. Did this story hit home? Let me know by liking the video and sharing your thoughts in the comments. Click Hype to help this story find others who felt the same way. Your support makes a huge difference. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments. If this story touched your heart, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more stories about resilience, dignity, and quiet justice. Because some lessons don't come with applause. They come with peace.